as you know, PTS 3 has been released on PC this week. It started on Tuesday this week, so that was 2 days ago. The good news is that PTS 3 is also coming to console, so that's the great news. You know, we explained that when we do a PTS on console, it can be a bit hard to get through all the, the submission process, try to get the builds approved and upload it and put on the different platforms. So we are currently going through the submission process for the PTS 3 build that is already on PC, and the good news is that it's looking very good. We should be able to deploy it on Tuesday next week on console. So that will be the same build that what the PC players have right now. So if you're curious, you can already go on the forums and check the patch notes. There's a bunch of changes, and we'll be talking about some of them with Keith. But one thing that is very important to note is that it's going to be a special PTS 3 version, if I can say, on console, because there's going to be one change that we're going to put on this build on console that is not available on the PC version, because we made it after we deployed it on PC, and we think it's very important for console players. It has to do with the SASG. So Keith, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, basically, we saw that rise pretty quickly, become pretty dominant in the tactic that people are using of kind of shouldering the weapon. So we've gone in and looked at a bunch of different things that we could tweak to improve that experience. But kind of we decided on a targeted approach where we're just tuning the actual weapon because there were some things that were out of balance with some of the other high RPM shotguns, like the Super 90, for example. Yeah. So it's similar in some ways to what we've done to the SVD, just kind of bringing it in line with the rest of the game and making it, more balanced. So the major change is that as you shoulder, the initial spread goes a little bit wider and matches closer to what the Super 90 does. So, shouldering and firing, and that's still part of the game, but it's harder to land every single pellet because the initial spread of what's live right now is really tight.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's...
We've also, one other thing is we also went in and have been tweaking. This is already on the PTS, but it was something we changed along with this, made it so you can no longer, through any kind of cheesy tactics, get above the RPM of the weapon. So that was another thing people were kind of chaining together with this.
Yeah. So yeah, the combination of these two changes, because the RPM one is already on PC, it's not on console because it goes with PTS 3, so that will go on Tuesday. But the combination of that change, so the hard cap on RPM plus the changes to SASG, should hopefully make the situation a bit better for the console, the shotgun situation and the SASG situation on console. So we're hoping this is going to help. We'll see how that turns out on the PTS. But yeah, that's a change, and that's very important to understand. That's a change that will only be implemented on the Console PTS version, but when the update goes live, it will be for everyone, of course. It's just for the PTS right now. We put the change after we deployed the build on PC, so it's just going to be put on. Now talking about PTS on console, one of the big discussions that we've had since we started talking about it is the invite process. So before we start with all the drama and all the issues, yes, we agree. The invite process of the PTS on console was kind of a mess, definitely. Agreed, acknowledged, and if we do a PTS on console again for update 1.8 or whatever, we'll definitely have a look at that and try to do it better, because trust me, we are equally as unsatisfied as you guys are with how things went. But yeah, we've been looking at it, and basically one of the things that happened with all the players saying that they have a lot of playtime on the game but were not invited. So there's two extra criteria that are actually to take into account, and that one falls on me. It's my fault I did not mention those when I explained the criteria, because they're very standard, and so I didn't think to mention them, but that could be an explanation. The first one is that you actually have to be 18, and that might sound stupid, but there may be some cases of players that have not received an invite because they were not 18. And the second one is that you actually have to be opted in to receive emails from Ubisoft. Which means that if when you created your Uplay account, when you started playing the game or whatever, if you untick the thing that says I allow Ubisoft to send me promotion emails or whatever, we are legally not allowed to send you any emails, even if that is a Console PTS invite or whatever. So that's probably the case for some of you guys. You probably have a lot of hours, you probably would qualify for the PTS, but the fact that this has been unticked means that we are not allowed to select you and to invite you. That is just a situation. And now it's too late. Now you can go there and tick it again for potential future phases. Then you would be eligible, but it's gonna be too late now for the PTS on console. As I said, that's something we learn in the process, so we'll do it better next time. But that's one of the cases. However, there are also a lot of cases because we have a lot of people that were eligible and were just not invited. So if you think that you should have been invited, if you think that you had this opted-in option that was ticked and that you had a lot of playtime and still didn't get an invite, please do contact our support teams. Our support teams are able to double check with the list of all the players that are eligible that we have. They're able to double check if you're part of this list, and if you are, they are able to send you a key. So please contact our support teams, and if they find out that you actually should be eligible, they will send you a key for the PTS. All right?
Sure. So, the PTS 3 version was really focused around kind of limiting the loot that was inside the superior caches. Prior version had high ends and a really large loot pool. So we targeted in on things we thought players would want more, namely a higher drop chance at receiving exotics, because a lot of players out there don't still have some of the exotics they've been grinding for, and upping the percentage chance of getting the classifieds a little bit. So it felt like a baby step to where we actually need to end up. So none of us were sold on that being the final thing, and the community definitely is echoing that, which is good. So what our plan is now is to go back into those loot tables. We like the general makeup of them, but we're gonna up the drop rate of classifieds inside those loot tables, and we're gonna increase the number of items that come out of those caches. So now you'll be guaranteed 2 items to drop, and there's a chance for a bonus drop. So it's just that change alone right off the bat makes this a much more rewarding experience, cuts the grind time down considerably, because we want it to be fun. We want people to jump in, play all the cool global event stuff, and feel satisfied. Yeah, we've pushed the chance that you'll pull a classified item from the loot table is over a 50% chance now. So that is up from about 30% on PTS 3. So the base chance is improved, the number of items you get is improved, so you have more chances to pull the item you want. So far it starts feeling a lot more rewarding, quicker for players. They start putting together sets a little bit faster. We still want people to have to get in and play for a little bit and experience the content and have that power climb towards the full classified set. It just needs to be an attainable goal for most players.
So that's for the caches. And in terms of obtaining these caches, how are you looking at that? Are you doing anything there?
Yeah, so we changed the price of the caches on PTS 3. They increased in price, and I know that frustrated a lot of people. So what we've done is that price. We like the 1,500 price. It's a good number for you to climb towards. But now we've gone through and we're trying to kind of rebalance the token gain so that on average, and some people will do this faster. We know that people will find faster routes to do some of this. But on average, people playing challenging level content should be obtaining the cache about every hour. So you can think, every hour I play the game at a difficulty level that most of our players have no problem with, they'll be getting, 2 to 3 items.
Yeah. And so there's a good chance of this to be classified, but not guaranteed. So there is still a chance
exactly.
of something else.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to look at my notes and if there was something else. There was something else we talked about before this state of the game.
Well, we're also looking at the leaderboards. We talked about that.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Exactly.
Yeah. So the one final piece of this is, the leaderboards are a part of the global event and keeps track of how many tokens you've gained over a period of time and puts you on the leaderboard. And we've still been kind of working on what the reward is going to be, and there's still going to be the vanity and stuff that was on there. But now we've created special classified caches for each event. So there's an outbreak classified cache and an assault classified cache. By placing on the leaderboards, which are pretty generous. If you're in there and playing, you'll get some rank is our hope.
Yeah.
You will end the event with guaranteed chances at classified drops. So, if you got like 5 of your 6 pieces, and you played quite a bit, at the end you'll get a few more chances at a very, very targeted loot table. Just 18 items in it.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, this is guaranteed classified in these ones, right?
Guaranteed 100% classified.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. Okay, so just one thing, just to be very clear with that. So the changes we are talking about right now, they are being working on now. Keith was actually called just before this this state of the game to talk about it. So this is not something that's going to be implemented on the PTS 3 that comes out on console next week. That's something that we're looking at that may only be implemented when we release the updates all together, We don't know yet if there's going to be a next phase of PTS or not, or if we're just going to stop it there and then just finalize the update with all the latest changes and release it. So don't expect these changes for PTS 3, but yeah, still this is what's being worked on. This is the goal here, to basically try to be a bit more generous with the classified drops, right?
Absolutely, and that's why there's those caches with all 6 items in there. We didn't want you to have to grind to test out the new gameplay and balance on the PTS. So you can just grab a set and play with it and test it in the global event content and give feedback on all that stuff, and it's super useful. And we'll keep making it, dialing in the economy up until we ship.
Yeah, because there's always a lot of final tweaks. I know that some people were asking, like, if we were asking for us to put, the final build on the PTS, but it's like if it's the final build and we put it on the PTS, we're going to want to make changes afterwards based on the feedback we'll get on this final build. So it's like in the end, it's never final, So the final, the last build that we have right now, PTS 3, as I said, this might be the final one on the PTS. We don't really know yet, but it's also going to depend on the reception on console next week. And then we'll be looking at finalizing all of that and putting that for the update and preparing the update for release. So all the changes we're talking about now to classified drops and all these kind of things are things that may not be implemented until the update. As much feedback as you can. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, guys. And I'll be seeing you next Thursday. And hopefully by then, Hamish will actually be available here and not there, because he's there. It's like, I wish I had a camera and I could turn it and people could see you and your beautiful new haircut.